Welcome in, friends. If you're new to my channel, my name is Carey. I'm a medium and a mentor, and today we're going to be doing a reading for the collective. Now, this reading feels important, and one of my indicators is when I'm opening up my energy field and asking for what guidance should I be bringing through for this collective. And Archangel Michael stepped forward, and it felt very important, like there's a message that he wants to convey for many of you. Now, as I'm tuning into this energy, the first thing I'm noticing is his presence being so close. And also, the symbol I get for him often is the symbol of eagle. And eagle's wings, the symbol of an eagle you might see somewhere. So if this resonates for you, the eagle symbol is a point to recognize that this is him bringing forth this message. The other thing I'm getting is I feel winded and out of breath. And what he's saying to me that just at this time, your cage is rattled, that you feel unsettled, that you feel ill prepared for what you're currently dealing with in your life. And collectively, we know right now, fall of 2025, we all have so much going on, both for humanity, our ascension, but also just in the world. There's tremendous amount of unrest. And it's very easy to become uncentered, ungrounded, and he's telling me untethered. Now, when you're untethered, it really means that you aren't grounded and you're not connected from the base of your spine, your root chakra, to the center of the earth. So this is why he's stepping forward, leaning in, as if to say you can lean in on his energy. So if you are newer to your spiritual practice, or if you've been on it for a while and you're just feeling uncentered, think about that. Just think about a root growing from the base of your spine, the bottoms of your feet, and just moving its way down through your floor and grabbing on easily to the center of the earth. That's really important. And we really see this right here with the Tower card. We know when the Tower card arises and comes into our field of consciousness, and this is in the recent past position, it's showing us that things are beginning to rattle. And it's no surprise there was an earthquake on the West Coast this last week. So tempers are flaring, things are becoming completely unhinged. There is a tremendous amount of upheaval, unrest, disconnection, and a sense of fight or flight. Now, wherever you land in this sense, as far as your energy goes, you need to be staying connected to your source. And source is that divine within, your own spark, your intuition, believing that you are part of a greater family in your consciousness. So lean into that a lot. And then again, rely upon your guides, your archangels for help and understanding. The way that the Tower card has been shown to me by my guides is to imagine you have a city built out on a table, and it's like all these little Lego, pieces of a castle, right? Just imagine a huge city. And then someone comes along and just takes a stick and just crashes down the entire city, making us feel unhinged, uncentered. And where do we place ourselves in that? So the thing about it, what we can really rely upon is change, because change is the one constant in our lives. So that's why you want to get your center in a very simplistic way, so that you don't feel this sense of being brushed away, or that you could just literally become ungrounded and fly away. Now, what is interesting about this entire thing is this is the position of you, and that's the Two of Wands, or the Two of Rods. And really what we know about this, and being that I'm speaking this to collective, and typically my collective here are people that are starting on their spiritual path or have been on their spiritual path for a while, and they do work on themselves, deep reflection. So it looks like some of you are really coming into a square alignment with the things that you're interested in, that you're passionate about, that you feel like are for you, and you're really trying to make your mark. Now, make your mark doesn't always have to be connected to finances, or even you building a business or anything of that in that vein, it really can be more connected to you specifically being in alignment with your intuition and stepping forward and feeling like you can be yourself, sharing your spirituality more authentically, not hiding. And what Spirit is saying is rely on that intuition with the Queen of Cups here. That's really saying when you feel as though you're in the beginning stages of this journey that you're on, where you're making those moves, right? And you're connecting in. I'm really feeling like many of you are still sort of figuring out where you are on this journey. Trust what you're feeling. Go with what we call your clairsentience. This is what I teach my students, is that probably for many of you, your common psychic ability is your ability to feel and sense. So if you literally can't see anything, if you can't hear anything internally, or you don't know anything, rely on your gut. Rely on what you feel. Now, in the unconscious position, which is something that just feels like a burden, it definitely feels like 10 of Wands, that you're at the end of this cycle that you have been carrying, and that there is a sense of pressure. I'm also feeling, let me know if in the comments if this makes sense. I'm getting a lot of pressure on your shoulders. I'm feeling a lot of strain, and even some of you maybe even having aches in your neck area and in the throat. And what I'm hearing internally from Archangel Michael is that this has a lot to do with holding on to something the way it once was, and then opening up through your throat chakra so that you again show that sense of your leadership and the beginning of something and a movement forward. So there's a lot of this energy of endings but new beginnings at the same time. So it definitely feels like contrast. Now, part of you is a little bit nervous about change. And we're seeing that here with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So that basically could be saying, well, I've had enough change. I'm not so sure if I'm ready for everything to completely shift. I don't know so much if this is something that I'm actually prepared to do. And what I'm hearing from Spirit here has to do with you feeling confident with knowing that if you do lose some either friends or people that you're connected to, even if you lose something that you dearly hold on to, that could be either friends or a place where you work or maybe a group of people you've invested in. I'm hearing from Spirit, there will be more. There'll be more people to come. There'll be new experiences, that you don't have to wait to act until everything is lined up perfectly. In fact, part of you trusting and moving through things without knowing all the answers and trusting your intuition, your clairsentience, has to do with you doing something anyway. Do it even if you're scared. Do it even if you're nervous. Do it even if it feels like it's confusing and complicated. Your guides are going to be there for you. Your guides, your ancestors, and also, again, the archangels are here showing themselves to this collective. Now, let me know in the comments if this has been something that you've been feeling. I know that a lot of my community feels this way. My clients, my students, my friends, and many people are feeling very uncentered and unsure. So tapping into Spirit in these simplistic ways are the ways that you will catch your breath again and get that sense of, okay, I may not know everything that's coming next, but I'm going to employ, my intuition here, and I'm going to reach out to my guides and my loved ones in Spirit for help. So coming up for you is a very interesting energy. We're getting a lot of the sacred feminine coming in. Now, what is the sacred feminine, right? People often ask these questions. What's the divine feminine? What's the sacred feminine? That is really the rising of us being not marginalized by the patriarchy. That is us stepping into our power, not just as women, but as a species, as humans, where we are much more in touch with our intuition, our connection to spirit, where we see spirit all around us. And also there's a deep sense of healing here. So that means your sacred feminine nature is not controlled or minimalized or held back. And the Empress is also that deep sense of loving yourself in your physical body, flowing with your creativity and also your sensual nature and how that moves through your life. When we start allowing that to flow, we feel so much more harmony, and we feel an unleashing of creative energy, and also really enjoying being in our physical bodies and a deep healing for our physical bodies. So that's what's really coming up for you, is the sacred feminine energy. Now, to nuance that, to bring it further, we're getting the 10 of Pentacles and also the Page of Cups. So in the very beginning of this reading, we talked about the Two of Wands, which is we're starting something new. You're taking that step towards a more authentic spiritual path in the way that it works for you, is what I'm noticing here. And yet, at the same time, there's a nervousness of not knowing all the steps. So you have a hunch what it would feel like, be like, and how it will manifest, but you're not quite sure. And this makes you sometimes tumble. They're showing me an image of you tumbling. I want you to trust the process right now. I want you to know, even if you can't see your right foot in front of your left foot and it feels like you're in the dark, you have hands, many hands holding you. Okay, many hands are holding you. And we're with the Page of Cups and then the 10 of Pentacles. This is really you being able to build the type of life that you really want, the one you want to invest in, the one that gives you the sense of prosperity and abundance and a feeling of as though you're in the right place, the right time. All the parts of the puzzle are coming together. And this starts with you trusting your emotions. You're trusting your intuition. And you're just in these early stages yet. So you haven't quite gone through the labyrinth I'm seeing that is required for you to get to this end goal that you have. But the guides are also saying really enjoy the journey, because as soon as you start to again become ungrounded, become uncentered, that's when you lose your way. 8 of Pentacles is a representation of where you are right now and what you're working on. And the 8 of Pentacles is when you're really focused tremendously on building the thing you want to build. The only thing that happens with the 8 of Pentacles is sometimes we lose our peripheral vision and we block out those energies around us, which can help us, which can be people, which can be our spirit guides, our ancestors, and our helpers. And that's part of leaning back in your body with the sacred feminine, where you're not having to be in your action mode all the time, where you feel a sense of comfort knowing all things will work out for your highest good. That's going to take some training on your part. That's going to take some reprogramming your subconscious. Now, if you're interested in this sort of thing, please put a comment below. I will do another reading on manifesting and any blocks we have around manifesting, and then guidance on how to move through that. Now, here's the thing I think it's really helpful to know is that around you, Page of Wands, you have support with new connections, probably through maybe some of the spiritual groups you're working with, or maybe friends you've made that you feel you have much more of a connection with. Alignment, you feel as though you can be yourself, that you can trust these people, and that you have more things in common. However, it does feel like maybe they feel new to you. And when people feel new, we don't always trust. So we talked about this a little bit earlier in the reading, where we were saying that, you don't know what's coming next. You're a bit in the dark. So you don't know what the next step is, right? This is part of you opening up and trusting the process. Spirit is building that muscle in you to trust the path. And you may not know what the step is, as I mentioned, that keeps coming through it over and over again, but they want you not to play it safe so much, to take those steps out. I think one of your concerns, one of your fears, looks like it's surrounding Knight of Pentacles. It's like things are going to move too slow. This is not going to happen quick enough. This is going to take much too long. And I don't know if what's coming next. So the Knight of Pentacles energy is, he doesn't move very fast. He's the one that gets his feet in, walks slowly, patiently keeps going until the very end. It does kind of resonate with the Eight of Pentacles energy. And so what that looks like to me has a lot to do with bringing in other aspects of yourself to understand that this could happen much faster than you're thinking. That we don't want to think in terms of what our own mind limits us to as far as outcome, destiny, things like that. But this is just something that's a piece of how you are. It feels to me like a lot of you like feeling that sense of safety and comfort, and that you're waiting for things to line up before you take the chance. And this is where you've got to dig in a little bit deeper. And that's where the Strength card comes in. So the Strength card is interesting because when you see that card, usually it's this woman taming the lion. And the lion is, it's wily. It's just, trying to flail around. But there's that soothing energy, again, of your intuition, of your clairsentience, which then says, I may not know every single direction that's coming ahead of me, but I do know that I'm going to be okay because my journey is supported by spirit. Now we're going to pull some of these oracle cards. I'm going to go into that. And what I'm seeing is eagle spirit. That is Archangel Michael. He came through. So that's a validation there of him. See who else is coming through. So we're getting dolphin spirit. This and that are true. So that's basically saying you can be scared, but also be optimistic at the same time. We're also getting wasp spirit. Sometimes it stings. So the image that they're giving me is this sense of not everything is going to be perfect. And you will make mistakes. It's not about perfection. It's not about always knowing which way you're going, but it's about the journey. And there will be so much insight that you get over time as you do this. In fact, you'll be able to share it with others, is what I'm hearing. So make sure they're showing me to write these things down so you remember later how you felt. Because when you recognize how you felt later, then you can help others because you've already been through it. We're getting the canary spirit, sing your own song. And then the bat spirit, a rebirth is assured. So you have a lot of, I would say, symbols coming through, which are represented in birds, right? As well as those that have wings. That's a symbol. So if you see that coming up, you'll know. You know what a song I just heard is one that I would say probably more is a song, a spiritual song. But the song I heard is, they will know us by our love, by our love, by our love. They will know us by our love. And I feel like that's your guide or your guides coming through. And so I feel like helpers are going to come in, which can come in many different forms. And you will know their energy, even though you may not know them, by how they feel, how they treat you. And that's a really important piece. So we're getting here too a couple symbols of stagnation. So that's that earth energy kind of coming in, the pentacles of things moving slowly. And then we're getting the beaver and the birch home. And to me, that's really just representative of you vacillating between not wanting to move forward and then wanting to move forward. So there's a duplicitous nature going on. And this is because it's still new. We have the mouse and the buttercup innocence. This is a lot of that page energy coming through of not feeling experienced on this path. The spider and the passion flower, creative ingenuity. This is just like, for me, it's feeling a lot like there's a push-pull in different directions for you, and you're looking for clarity and insight in regards to what's coming next. As we're finishing up this reading, I feel a shift going on. And again, we started this reading with Archangel Michael. We will end it with him. And I'm feeling, again, that sense of breathlessness and some anxiousness. And I will say that what you want to start with, he's telling me, is just the simplicity of the breath, asking for help, and then grounding. Okay. And you are making your mark. That's what I heard. So this is pretty amazing. So I just pulled this card, and on it, it says feminine. Okay, again, we're going back to that sacred feminine energy. And again, what does that mean? That means sitting further back in the body. That means trusting. That means not always having to act. Again, this isn't a gender. It is really more of a way of being, which is not always with movement, not always with motion, not always with action. So taking your time and just making sure to ground, center, and make sure that you breathe. I really love doing these readings. Let me know in the comments if any of this resonated for you. It felt like it was going in a lot of directions, which is really indicative of the energy that we're sensing here. And make sure, if you're struggling with any of these things, to check out my meditation videos. Really are designed to help you with these very things: grounding, breath work. And know you've got this. Trust your intuition. All right, we'll see you in the next one.